KPMG, a multidimensional consulting firm, has disclosed that Nigeria's unemployment rate would increase to 40.6% in 2023 from 37.7% in 2022. A recent report titled KPMG Global Economy Outlook Report first half of the year 2023 said the figure of job seekers would rise in 2023 due to the decreased economic growth and the inability of the country's economy to absorb the 4 to 5 million yearly graduates into the Nigerian job market. It also explained that the unemployment and inflation rate would shoot up rapidly in the year 2024. Well, for more analysis of this report, Adewale Oyenride, the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, joins me now. Thank you very much for your time. Now, I want to know what your thoughts are on the data released by KPMG indicating that Nigeria's unemployment rate would rise as high as 40.6% in 2023.
Yeah, good evening and thank you for having us. Well, the report by KPMG is not far from the truth. Some might even say it's a conservative analysis of the anticipated unemployment rate. Now, when you talk about unemployment or employment, they are not fictitious conversations. They should be based or situated rightly within the context of a parameter or parameters, as you want to call them. If the unemployment rate is reducing, then there are definitely some parameters that are influencing it. If the unemployment rate is growing bigger and higher, there are also some parameters that are influencing it. And within our context, we realize that all the indices that we have currently will not, or probably will not, support any analysis that says the unemployment rate is coming down. For unemployment, for an economy to grow in basic economics, production and consumption must be going on uninterrupted. Even where there are shocks, the monetary and fiscal policy of the government will create an environment where those shocks can be mitigated. Or in some instances, as we find in some other climes, countries of nations, of developed nations, of not so developed nations, also create palliatives, create grants, or deliberately create structures, institutional structures that will help the economy to keep grinding, even in spite of the shocks that it might be facing. In our case, that has not been the issue. From the last report of 33 point something percent of unemployment rate, and the projected 41 point something that KPMG reported recently, what we look at is, look, what are the parameters? Up to now, we've had shocks, interrupted consumption, interrupted production. The real sector is not producing to capacity utilization. The business environment has not been friendly enough to ensure that production or business sustainability is guaranteed. And if sustainability is not guaranteed, then you can't even talk of competitiveness, because you have to be sustainable first before you talk of competitiveness. Limited investment by the private sector, even the foreign direct investments that should boost business growth and boost economic activities, they are not coming the way they used to, because the environment is not friendly enough for businesses to grow. And why government
brought to the KPMG has said that the country's inability to absorb its over 5 million graduates yearly is the major reason for this data. But briefly tell us, what are the ripple effects of this report, if indeed it's valid? What are the ripple effects, and how serious is this really if you have over 5 million graduates who could be jobless by the time they're through with school? So what are the ripple effects, on the larger scale?
Now, two things quickly. First, the 4.5 million that was quoted. Your rate of job creation or business sustainability rate must be higher than your rate of the rate at which you are turning out graduates for your figures to start coming down. So since you cannot stop the academic calendar from running, so graduates will continue to come out every year, then your task is to make sure that your rate of development, your rate of job creation is equal to or greater than the rate at which your graduates are coming out. That is one of the ways in which you can deal with the issue of unemployment. Now, you mentioned the issue of the risk involved, massive risk involved. You have the most productive, the most engaging of your population out of job. You run the risk of insecurity as we have it currently. You also run the risk of compromising the growth of your businesses that are struggling, because those that are not working, their disposable income is also tending to zero. And if those ones cannot patronize businesses, they cannot patronize the manufacturing businesses, they cannot patronize the service industry. If they can't patronize those industries that thrives on consumption, you're also creating problems for those industries, because if they don't sell, they can't grow. And if they can't grow, they can't expand. If they're not expanding, it affects the capacity. If they're not expanding, it affects their ability to even pay salaries. If they're not paying salaries, it affects the ability of their staff to pay house rent. If they're not paying house rent, it affects the capacity of the landlord to send his children to school. If he's not sending his children to school, it affects the ability of the school proprietor to pay salaries.
Indeed, it's certainly
like
going to cross the effects of this is certainly going to go across all segments and sectors of the economy. But I'm sorry to cut you short there, Mr. Adewale Oyerinde, the Director General, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. Thank you very much.